Hey there, Wargamers, Justin on our page here, and boom, got another hobby update for you. I'd like to welcome you guys back to the channel. Today I have brought my mechs back from work. Now I'm working on a variety of products, a variety of mechs here, projects, that's what I want to say. I'm working on a variety of projects, and I'm working on some Comstar stuff as well. We've got a lot of the guys at the shop, and a lot of my friends who have got into Battletech, and they've jumped in the clan invasion era, and I've got a lot of inner sphere stuff, I've got some clan stuff, I got some merc stuff, but I wanted something that was particularly fluffy for 3052 era, and Comstar it fits the bill. You know, if you're playing with people who got a bunch of clan stuff, what better to have than Comstar? The people who initiated the dirty deeds took you ad, correct? So I'm going to show you guys what I've been working on and give you guys a hobby update. So first of all, we're going to get into the non-mechs first. We've got some cool stuff from DRD, deathrodesigns.com. If you're interested in checking out what we have to offer, there is a link and a coupon code down below. Supporting them helps support me, because that's the place I work for my day job. So let's go ahead and pop this open. I've got some of our tanks. Now these aren't, I didn't spend a huge amount of time on these thus far. I just got some real quick colors down on them at work before I left. They're pretty grungy. I still need to hit them with a dry brush and then do some detail work. They probably won't look as good as my mechs do, but because of the way Comstar functions with their level 1, 2, and 3 stuff, I read that they sometimes have mixed lances or mixed companies, so they have tanks and things like that, so I wanted to get some combined arm stuff into my forces. So bear with me, these don't look as good as the mechs do, but I do want to showcase them because we do have a variety of 6 to 10 mil vehicles that are very, very affordable. So let's start off with this tank here, which we are calling the Gemini. And this could be a proxy for a variety of different official tanks. It pops off. I think it looks really, really cool. In the Dark Age era, I think this would probably make for a pretty good Kelswa. But for you guys in the comments down below, let me know what you think this would be a good proxy for. Maybe I could check out the stats on Master Unit List and maybe pick a different tank variant that this would be a good stand-in for. I don't know a lot about the tanks, so you guys who are vets can let me know. So I think that's really cool, and I think from DRD, I think we're selling that for like 12 bucks, I think, full retail. There's a 10% coupon in the description, so save you a little bit. And I got 2 of that. Pew, pew, pew. I think they're pretty cool. Again, once I hit it with a dry brush and some light weathering, and then like black out the treads, black out the barrels, and do the lights and stuff, it'll look a lot better. But right now, it just looks like a dirty gray and white mess, which is fine. And then we've got some LRM carriers. I figured having something to rain down the hellfire on the enemies of the inner sphere, the dirty clanners. Yeah, can't go wrong with some LRM launchers. Got a pair of those, which I think is pretty cool. And then I got our Bodkin tank. This is called a Monarch. It's what we've called it, a Monarch. It's basically an LRM carrier, but we're calling it the Monarch. And then we've got our Bodkin, which I think the closest proxy to this is like a Hunter. But I'll probably use it as like a SRM carrier or a light missile tank of some sort. Again, in the comments below, if you have an idea for what you would run this as, right? And what you might run this as, let me know. I'll check out those unit entries, and I've got 2 of them as well. I've got 2 of each one of these. I'll check those out and see what I would like. Now, I can't remember the names of these right offhand. I should. I think this is the Churchill. And I think that the closest proxy for this might be a Bulldog. And again, it's like it's pretty much black on the side, so once we hit that with the dry brush, it'll look a lot nicer. These were super duper fast. Like I was going real quick at the shop at like 1 o'clock in the morning, trying to get these ready to roll. I'm trying to get my forces done quickly, so I've got more options for battle reports so that you guys don't get bored seeing me field the same models over and over, or the same forces. So I'm trying to expand. I've just bit off more than I could chew. I've got a lot of models right now that I'm working on, so bear with me. I believe this one is our Dinos. I can't remember which thing this is supposed to be. Maybe not a marksman. I can't remember what it's supposed to be, or what it would be a good proxy for, but we've got this little fella. Again, you know, you guys can enlighten me in the comments down below. You know more. And I think that'll be fun to use on the table. Got a duo of those. Pew, pew, pew. And then this one, so I really like the Gemini, which I think looks really, really cool. It's a super, super badass tank. It's probably one of my favorite models we've made. And then we've got the Myers, which 100% looks like it could be a Shrek PPC carrier. The Myers, very, very cool. Pew, 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 or boom, boom, boom. So I got 2 of those, these big old tanks here. So I've got a total of, what we got, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yeah, so initially I had 10 tanks, and I went back through our stock and I picked up 2 more because I know Comstar does the whole, the Comstar Lance or Star or Fortified Star, whatever they call it, or Fortified Lance. And they have, they do groupings of 6 instead of 4. So I went back, and because I had 10, I was like, well, I might as well have 12, you know, make the number divisible by 6 so that it fits in with the fluff to some degree. So went back and did that. And there's room for expansion. You know, we've got other stuff. I really wanted to grab a Medusa, which is like a AA tank, looks a lot like a Partisan. Could definitely proxy as one. You know, some kind of like quad AC2 thing or something like that. Very cool. I didn't, because I didn't want to bite off more than I could chew too early. I also want to grab some VTOLs for him and maybe some artillery. So got a lot of room for expansion, as well as infantry from Death Ray Designs, but I have not done that yet. So that is our tanks for Comstar thus far. And I chose Comstar, but I'll totally, if we play Jihad Era with someone, I'll totally be the bad guy and we'll just proxy him as Word of Blake, or maybe even actually paint some Word of Blake stuff to go with them. But let's jump into the mechs here. We've got a Mongoose, which I think Bishop Steiner from Facebook, I believe he said he designed this one. I actually, I needed a reason to paint one up. I had mine from the Kickstarter, and I needed a reason to paint it. And I believe he left a comment on one of my unboxing videos and was talking about how badass this thing was. And I looked at the stats, and I was like, yeah, this little turd is fast as shit, and his TMM, his target movement modifier, is really high. So if he gets hit, he's probably going down, but he's going to be a nuisance before he does. So I felt that he would be a pretty good addition to my Comstar forces. And we've got, I believe this is a Mercury. Now we're going to get to some mechs here whose names I can't remember, so you guys will have to bear with me. I've got the cards, but the more obscure mechs here I don't have memorized. I know a lot of the basic stuff for Battletech, but a lot of the more obscure stuff I can't identify everything. So I believe this is a Zeus, and I think he's looking pretty cool. Got the Dakas. I think he turned out pretty cool. And we've got, I can't remember what this guy's called. Oh, I should know. I looked at his name like 10 times and I can't remember, but he looked really badass. And I was like, okay, kind of get like a Zaku Gundam vibe from this guy a little bit. What do you guys think? And if you know the name, enlighten me, let me know. I'm going to mess this up for a while, but I'm determined to learn. So you veterans who tune into the channel, A, thank you for watching. I appreciate you. And B, thank you for dropping knowledge on me, because I want to learn. I know a lot about a little bit, and there's a lot of stuff I know nothing about. So you guys, you know, dropping little tidbits about lore and fluff and names and things like that really help. Even if it's like telling me what he is cool, but if you knew something about him that was beyond the name, share with me. Like, is there some unique pilot who did some cool shit in the fluff that I probably might want to know about? Drop a little sentence or two or something and tell me. Like, if there's something about this that beyond just the name that is really cool, share with me. Like, I think that's cool. And other people who watch this, especially right now with Games Workshop doing what they're doing, there's a lot of people that are looking to get into Battletech. So these unboxings that I've been doing, these hobby updates and stuff, people might be watching this. And again, thank you if you are tuned in. And you know, for those of you guys who are super familiar, you're doing us a service by sounding off in the comments. Not only is it cool for me because I get to engage with you, but people who are new get to learn from it too, because they hear me rambling like I am now, and they'll go check the comments to see if somebody tells us what this is. So and I could go into my cards. I saved all of those for Alpha Strike, but I can't remember and I don't want to dig it out right now. I think this one is the Guillotine. I think that's the Guillotine. It kind of looked pretty cool. I tried to also pick mechs that were listed as like Comstar, and most of them weren't usable by anyone else, or they weren't usable by many other factions. According to Master Unit List, there's always exceptions to every rule. But I tried to be pretty fluffy with what I picked based on what was listed in the Master Unit List. So that's kind of my guide here. So, but I thought he looked really, really neat. So grabbed him. A little bit of asymmetry too, which I like. And then we've got, let's see. I think this is the Trebuchet. I know this from Harebrained Schemes Battletech. I got real familiar with the trebuchet because it's the one of the earliest LRM DACA launchers you can get before the catapult. And with a name like trebuchet, it makes sense. Trebuchet catapult, throwing stuff from long range. So yeah, pretty cool. Pew pew. And then let's see. I can't remember this guy's name. I've also, these ones that I don't know, I've looked up several times and I keep forgetting them. But got him as well. Yep. And let's see here. I'm kind of going through them in the order with which I find them to be cool, even some of the best for last year, which there's quite a few here at the end that I really like. Actually, let's do this guy. This one here is a Centurion. I recognize him. He's changed a little, but I believe in Mech Commander Gold, the opening scene, which has got, I believe, a Centurion, I think a Hunchback, and a Raven fighting a Mad Cat. I think there was a Centurion, Raven, Hunchback fighting Mad Cat. Yeah, so I think this is what was in that. If I'm wrong and someone knows, correct me, but I think that's what it was. So I thought that looked pretty cool. I like this a little bit better than the MWO sculpt, and I feel like you get Centurions and Harebrained Schemes. The ones I remember in my head of the designs, I like this one better. It doesn't seem as top heavy and wide and weird. I feel like the one in MWO is just oddly proportioned compared to this. So I like this one a lot better. Plus it's kind of got that like Spartan kind of helm going on, which is pretty cool. And we got Shadowhawk, and if you follow my channel for any length of time, you probably know by now, or may know, and if you don't, you're now going to know. I really like the Shadowhawk and the Griffin, two of my favorite mechs, and if I have an excuse to put one in an Inner Sphere force or somehow on a clan force at some point, I usually try. I really like them. I think their points are reasonable. Their mobility is good. They don't do a huge amount of damage, but they're also not my front lines either. They're more like the mid lane or mid range, use cover and just plink consistent dice rolls, while you have to focus on the more heavy hitting stuff. You can focus on these, but if you're not focusing on my Atlas or my Direwolf or whoever, you know, those things are just going to march down the field and shoot at you. So I really like them. I also feel like it's a pretty iconic Battletech, so having a Shadowhawk in a variety of forces makes sense, and I like it. We've also got, ding ding ding, another iconic mech for Battletech, the Rifleman. There's a lot of people that love it or hate it, but I like the way it looks, and I had one here, so I wanted to paint one up. And a lot of the stuff you see, especially if it's something I have a duplicate of, I've done a lot of wheeling and dealing in trades on Facebook, so if you've traded with me, I've turned a lot of those models I've traded for into terrain. I've been able to turn them into a lot of pre-painted terrain, so I can have stuff for battle reports and then other models I needed. So that is what has been going on there. So if you've done any trading with me or saw me on Facebook, that's what's been going on with all the models I've been picking up. So at some point you'll get to see a lot of the terrain I've picked up. I think I'm supposed to be filming, as of this right now, I'm supposed to be filming a battle report this weekend. It's Friday today when I'm filming this. I'm supposed to be filming a battle report on Sunday, maybe two. We've got the Lancelot, which I believe Bishop Steiner from Facebook also designed. I think, I could be wrong, but I feel like he mentioned in one of my, or comment in one of my unboxings that he had designed this. I think this looks really cool too. It kind of looks like the big brother to a Blackjack, and I think it looks pretty cool. The proportions are very reasonable. Some mechs that have these like double weapon arms kind of look goofy. I like this one. Some people might not, but I really think it's kind of cool, so I wanted to use it. And let's slide these back just a little. Alright, so another iconic mech here. Can't go wrong with a Marauder. If you're Inner Sphere, especially 3052, I feel like the Marauder is like the epitome of things you should have, right? His barrel's a little bent. You probably got to get that with a heat gun. I've heated it once and it just kind of warped back, but yeah. There is our Marauder. Pew, 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 pew. Alright. We've got a Grasshopper, which totes definitely doesn't look like HK47 to me. I'm just kidding, it does. He's looking like he wants to put holes in clanner meat bags. If you like KOTOR, then you got that reference and you probably smiled. But yeah, look at his face. Like, tell me if you like KOTOR that this guy does not have a HK47 vibe going on. Come on. Come on. You know he does. Alright, so next up in line here, we're almost through. We've got our Banshee. It's a big old boy. This sculpt is super cool. I really like it. There have been times where I've played with Banshees in video games and otherwise and just didn't care for it, but in this one I think the sculpt is very cool. His face looks really sick. Like, let's get a tight up shot here. Check out that face. That's a face that if you don't love it, you're going to hate him, because he's going to blap you with his lasers and stuff. And also, I believe he's like 80 or 85 tons, and he's got jump jets, I think, so he's got some good mobility to get his weapons in ranges that he wants and using cover. Like, no joke for a light, agile assault. So I think he's a pretty good addition to the Comstar forces. Now we're getting into some of my favorites. I love the Flash Man. Who doesn't like the Flash Man? Flash. He's so fast. He's so fast, he'll shoot you before he shot you. I'm just kidding. He probably isn't even that fast. Probably moves 6 to 8. Probably TMM1. I don't think he even has jump jets. I could be slightly wrong. I'm remembering the stats. I probably am wrong, because I get stuff wrong all the time. But I think he looks really cool. These are obviously not done. I'm going to be doing some scratch marks, lenses. I got to black out barrels and do glow effects in the tips and stuff. But I really like the Flash Man. I wanted an excuse to paint one up. And he got rolled into the Comstar. We've got 2 mechs left here. Another one that I really like. Knew nothing about it until the Kickstarter. Whooshing! The Crockett, if I got it right. Some people, I feel like, have shit on this and said he looks stupid. I think this thing is badass. Like, he's got nice proportions. He's got these big chunky linebacker, not mech linebacker, but like linebacker, you know, muscular vibe. These big shoulders here. Like, I guess that's traps and shoulders. And these big chunky guns and this big thing there. And his, like, bolstered neck armor thing. I need chunky legs. He even got a nice butt. Look at him. Just twerk, twerk. Missiles up top. Like, this mech is super badass, and he's got really nice proportions. He's not really, it's not odd in any way where like something's real big. He's got tiny bird legs or something. Like, this mech is really cool. There may be some naysayers, and it may be more of someone who hates it because the stats are good or bad. I like him because he looks good, and generally if I think a mech looks cool, I want to play with it, and that's kind of how I gauge stuff. So, got the Crockett. And now, for last but not least, dun dun, dun dun, dun dun. Got the King of the Battlefield. That was a really bad attempt at Crazy Train, and it probably sounded awful. And because I have to edit this, I gotta listen to myself. So, not Justin, you sound dumb. Don't sing on your videos. But we got this King Crab here, and I think he's gonna look really cool once we get some details. I've gotten a lot of good feedback on him on social media when I posted him, and he's not done yet. I think he looks really, really cool. And white's really difficult, and I'm not as confident with white as I am other colors, so I look at this and there's a lot of things that frustrate me because it's not as perfect as I want, but I have the least amount of experience with this color scheme than anything else I've ever painted, and probably will continue to not get as much experience with white because I just don't do big blocks of white. I paint small areas on models white all the time, but not big sweeping areas. It's not as forgiving, so you really have to push the contrast to get that transition. So we got this like really dark gray, light white highlights on it, and then as you transition, it comes up to bright white or, you know, a slightly off white. I've got scratch marks on it. You can kind of see where the pure white is. Like that scratch mark right here is pure white, and it's so close to the color, but because we got that white transition into gray right next to each other, this almost looks gray, but like that scratch mark is pure white, and it's very, very close. So I think for doing some of my scratches, like here, the white's really going to show up. Here, it doesn't show up so well. So I think I'm going to have a variety of scratch marks, like white back in here, maybe some dark gray on the white areas to give depth, you know, because I want to be able to show that. And I thought about maybe doing some light brown chipping or stippling to make it look like the armors, or the paint has been chipped a little bit on the mechs. So we'll see what I do, but that is the King Crab and the leader of my forces. That's why he got, ooh, he's got number 2. Who has number 1? Who did, oh, you know what? I guess he's the king of the battlefield, but the king ain't the king. He's the queen. He's the king, queen crab, because he does what he wants to do. The leader is the king, and the king just kind of stands there and shoots stuff. So I made that the Crockett. I have no idea why. That seems like a mistake, but it is what it is. So here's the leader. Definitely just kidding. This is the queen of the battlefield, number 2 to number 1, but he, like the chessboard, the queen is the most vicious, and the king crab is vicious. So that being said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This is what we've got so far for the mechs. We'll do a quick count before we sign off here. I do appreciate you guys sitting here and letting me ramble. I like talking about models. If you have some cool models you're working on and have maybe an Instagram, chime off or sound off in the comments below with a link to your Instagram. Let's let the community check out what you're working on so we can see it. I'll hit you with a follow and check out your minis as well. So we've got 4, 8, 12, 16, 17 models. I'm not sure why I didn't go straight into 18 because I think I am sometimes a dum-dum, and that's just what I have done. Yeah, or not 18, I would need to do, yeah, 18, because that would be 3 6s. I'm not sure why I didn't. I feel like, I know why I didn't. Oh, I made a boo-boo. I was trading for a Thunderbolt, and that hasn't transpired properly, so I don't have the Thunderbolt. I was going to make a Thunderbolt my 18th model, and I totally forgot, and then I painted these anyway and totally forgot that he was, when I got him in the mail, I was going to put him with the Forces, and that hasn't happened. So I'm a model short, so I guess we're just going to be a model short. I'm sure I'll expand these later on anyway, but yeah, that's unfortunate, because I totally forgot. I totally was going to put a Thunderbolt with him. So, but that being said, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I enjoy being able to ramble about my hobby progress, Battletech, and just hang out with you in general. I know it's a little bit of a one-way here because we're not live. It's a YouTube pre-recorded video here, but we can have a lively chat in the comments below. So if you're working on a project you want to share with us, drop some Instagram links. If you liked what I've got going on here, got any questions, sound off below. Let me know the names of the mechs I didn't know, and if you know any tidbits. Are there any cool pilots that are noteworthy, of like in the King Crab, or maybe the Crockett, or maybe even the Flashman, because the Flashman is super awesome? Let me know. I'd love to know as much about your models as I would want to know about the fluff, so let me know, and that'll get me informed, and I can learn more about Comstar, maybe some other factions. That being said, if you have any Battletech needs at all, check out Fortress Miniatures and Games, official sponsor of our YouTube channel here. Robert's super cool. He's local. Supporting him helps support me because it keeps his doors open, which means I have a cool Battletech place to do things at. So check him out. If he doesn't have something you want or need, send him a message. He might have it, might be able to find it for you. He's got his ways like Comstar, except he's not collecting bills. He just wants to give you models. If you like the paint job here or on anything else you've seen me do, check out Monument Hobbies. Their Pro Acro line is responsible for 99% of the painting that you have seen me lay down on my minis. And finally, last but not least, if you liked the tanks I showed off, link down below to Death Ray Designs. We got a coupon code as well. Supporting them supports me as well, because it's my main job, my day job, and them doing well means I do well, because I keep my job and I like making minis and packing minis and doing terrain stuff for a living. So hopefully you guys will check that out. As always, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really do appreciate it. Hope you have an awesome day. Hope this inspires you to get into your Battletech projects and painting them and playing some games. But it's time for me to go. So as always, keep rolling those dice, keep painting those models, and I will catch you next time.